up Twitch. Hello. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you, bro. And yeah, we're back, baby. You can see this beautiful mug and this Hawaiian shirt. And it may not look it, but it is still very cold outside. But I dress in different ways every now and then. Also, I just didn't have any clean clothes. So just the way the cookie crumbles. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Here's more from Steve Kerr on this being a team win and a confidence builder.
This is a huge win, not only for the standings, but for the confidence of the guys. That was a team win. I mean, everybody came in there and competed and played well. And, we're down 10, I think, in the fourth. And to make that comeback against that team, that we're tied with in the standings, just an enormous win. And winning the other night, obviously, they're all big right now. But I like this one for the grit that we had to show to get it done.
Absolutely. Grit is a perfect word to describe last night's performance. It wasn't beautiful. At times there were nice plays. Both sides kind of just boneheaded mistakes, lackadaisical effort on the defensive side. But you know what? When both those teams are missing star players like they did, Minnesota last night, no Gobert, no Karl Anthony Towns. Warriors, obviously, no Stephen Curry, no Andrew Wiggins, and no Draymond Green. Your stars have to step up. And you know what? Klay Thompson, the future Hall of Famer, he stepped up. Anthony Edwards, he didn't. It was a bad game from Anthony Edwards last night. Couple that with great Warriors defense at times on him, and you're going to get a great decision. And the decision was they got to win. They got the dub. Naz Reid, by the way, that's the guy. He's a future Hall of Famer if he only plays the Warriors. Guy's incredible. He's a hell of a player. 6'9" center. You don't really have those too much these days. 6'9", but he plays like he's 7 feet against the Warriors. He's got the stroke going. He had 20 points, I think. What was that, first quarter? It was crazy. But the best player on that team didn't do much. 5 of 19 for Anthony Edwards, 2 of 8 from beyond the arc, 5 boards, 7 assists. Okay. Turned it over 5 times. 5. Yikes. Couple that with the Golden State Warriors. Jordan Poole, he had some bad turnovers. At this point, that's just what it's going to have to be for Jordan Poole. If he's handling the ball that much, you'd like to see him turn that down a little bit. But you know what? Steph still has turnover problems his whole career, so might just be a thing. Klay Thompson, he turned over a couple times, but you know what? Klay and Dante, players of the game, performers of the game, just elite showing from the guys you needed to lean on. We talked about this Friday heading into that game against the Houston Rockets. You know what? You're going to have to lean on Dante DiVincenzo and Klay Thompson. You're going to need these guys like Kuminga to step up more. Kuminga with a nice night. 5 of 10 from the floor, 13 points. Loon Dog, again, so consistent. 17 rebounds, 12 points for Looney. He was active on the glass, active on the paint. Again, Klay, 32. Dante, 21. Jordan Poole, not a great shooting night, but you know what? Kept with it. He was still a +8. Then you look at on the bench, Anthony Lamb contributing with some huge shots down the stretch. He had a couple blocks. So yes, that was a total team win and a one they needed to get. Because at worst right now, you're going to split. And now you want to get greedy though. You're going to go up against the Portland Trailblazers team. Yes, Dame just had an incredible night dropping 71 against the lowly Houston Rockets. But you know what? You should be able to win this game. You should win this game. I'm saying it right now. Now, we'll wait to see what's going on with Draymond Green, because that is a scary thing, having knee flare up this late in the season. He's been pretty damn durable throughout this year, and that just makes you worried, gives you concern. It absolutely gives you concern. But you know what? What I saw last night, hell of an effort. Might have been the win of the year. But in this case, every single win this next in the way might be the win of the year. Hamza, good morning on the YouTube chat. Appreciate you. If you'd like to get involved, hit me up there. Hit me up at 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. On Twitter, at Spadoni_Joe. If you would like to hit me up there as well. Was that the win of the year? Kind of feels like it. Kind of feels like this team was up against a wall, and every single loss is going to be magnified by 10 million at this point in the season. And every single win is going to be like, okay, win the next one. Win the next one. Keep stacking. Keep building. And right now, just looking at the standings, you're the 7th seed for the Golden State Warriors. You're just a half game back of the Dallas Mavericks, who blew what was a 27, 28-point lead yesterday? You hate to see that for the Dallas Mavericks. And then the Clippers, they're kind of hitting the skid. So you're right in that mix to get out of the play-in game if you keep stacking these wins, and you're going to feel great if you come out of this without Steph, 3-1 post-All-Star break. And again, we'll wait to see what the reevaluation on Stephen Curry is this week, and you're hoping he's back for at least that Lakers game on Saturday. But that would be a massive, massive win. Be huge. Here's more from Steve Kerr on his feelings about that team closing out that game last night at Chase Center with a win.
We've got control of the game. We've lost a couple of those this year. You just don't want to see what's on the other side of the door. You got to finish the deal. And we had, 2 or 3 turnovers in that stretch. And I should have taken a timeout when we had the ball full court and we got a turnover. I think Lamb was throwing it to Clay and they got mixed up. I think Clay cut the other way as Lamb made the pass. I probably should have taken a timeout there and advanced it, but we got the job done anyway. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but we finished.
Yeah, I texted night after they took that 9-point lead. I was like, this game's over. Should have known. This Warriors team, you cannot just say night. You can't do that anymore. Not with this season. Last year, sure. This year, not until that final buzzer goes off, I am trusting this Golden State Warriors team. Which, that's just where we're at. They're a game over 500. It was a nice couple wins, but they need to start stacking them more here. They haven't been able to do it all season. Can they do it? Can they do it this week? Next game tomorrow against the Portland Trailblazers. So we shall see. But nonetheless, hell of a win last night for the Golden State Warriors as they take out the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves, by the way, they slide down to 9 seed. And they are, no Karl-Anthony Towns, no Rudy Gobert. You need Anthony Edwards now without D'Angelo Russell, who won that trade. And you saw Mike Conley last night. Did some decent things. Mike Conley. He's a veteran. He's crafty. He'll do some things that are leaving guys open. He's very patient, Mike Conley. He's not the fastest guy, never was. Very patient player. And he'll pick and choose his spots nicely. And at times it worked, but you need Karl-Anthony Towns. You need your young superstar. You need the explosive guy in the game like that to kind of take over. And Naz Reid was doing his thing. He did all he could. 30 points, for God's sakes. Edwards, and this is why plus-minus really bothers me. Anthony Edwards was a +1 last night. You know what Naz Reid was? -6. Okay. Don't tell me he wasn't the best player on the floor other than Klay Thompson last night. It was Naz Reid, and it wasn't even close. Yeah, I get it. He missed some shots towards the end there that they probably needed, and he was making early on the game. But you know what? Hats off to the Warriors and their defense. They played a hell of a game. And that was the reason they won last night. And Dante DiVincenzo agrees.
We're going to take our threes. We're going to, push in transition, but we really locked in defensively in that fourth quarter. They were getting some easy non-contested threes. And once we pressured, making them go downhill, we didn't foul. They couldn't make those layups around the rim with 2-3 guys going to try to block it. And then we were off and running. So it wasn't offense. It was definitely defense night.
And Dante DiVincenzo, just a hell of a pickup this year for the Golden State Warriors. 7 of 13 last night. Shooting the ball, 21 points, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. What a game from the Italian stallion, Dante DiVincenzo, in a game where they needed him to step up. No Gary Payton II. He was going to be the guy this season before they even bought GP2 back into the fold. It was Dante DiVincenzo was the replacement. And he's been money all season. By the way, speaking of money, he's made himself a lot of money this season. I don't know if the Warriors can afford to bring him back. It'd be a great thing to do. But you know what? Hats off to him wherever he decides to go, because he's just been a hell of a player for the Golden State Warriors this season. Consistent all year long, brings it on the defensive end. And that stroke he's got, and he said he's tinkered with it the last couple weeks. It was his off shooting hand, whatever it was, just made a minor adjustment, and it's paid off. He is shooting that 3 ball. I expect it to go in more often than not when Dante DiVincenzo has the rock. So 888-957-9570. How big of a signing has that been for the Golden State Warriors? It's been huge. I think it's been the signing for the Golden State Warriors. Not even close. Ernie Chavez on the YouTube chat. What's up, Ernie? Love you checking in. If that's the best win of the season, your season isn't going well. Well, you know what? Like I said, every win the rest of this season, Ernie, it's probably going to be your best win of the year. That's just what it's going to be, because these games are going to start mattering more and more as we head down the stretch here. We don't have that many left. The 21 now or 20. So what team are you? You're going to go 10-10 the rest of the way? Or are you going to go 10-5? Are you going to go 8-2? Right? Are you going to go these next stretches? Are you going to go 15-5? Are you going to go 5-15? This Warriors team is on the brink of potentially making a run or falling apart. Which one are they going to do? Or are they just going to be stuck in the middle with you? That was my Spadoni impression, by the way. If you've never heard it, I urge you to go into the 95.7 The Game archives. Maybe we need to create a page like that here on 95.7 The Game. Just every host's best moment and just start saving it in certain folders and certain slots here on YouTube. Because Guru has like 10 a day. Spadoni has a couple a week. And then the morning roast, obviously, Dante and Shasky, those guys going nuts. And they were probably going nuts after that win last night for the Golden State Warriors. But that'd be a nice little thing. Ray not turning on his mic. You can have a separate page for that. Probably about 100 or 200 times a show. 888-957-9570. I just had a hilarious thought with the 95.7 The Game merch. And you can hit up 957thegameshop.com for all your 95.7 The Game merch. You need a picture of Ray and a silhouette of the microphone. And it says on air in the corner because we have a little sign that says on air. But Ray's mic is turned off and he's trying to talk and nothing's coming out. I don't know how you get that onto a shirt, but we need to find a way to do that for Ray. And I'm sure he'd promote the hell out of it. Ray, by the way, hell of a job all week on the A chair for Damon and Ratto, working with Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles. He didn't work the A chair, and I'm calling it the Ray chair from now on. That's what I'm sitting in right now, the Ray chair. But you know what? Hell of a job for him. And maybe I underestimated Ray a little bit, and I shouldn't have. I'm going to start to estimate him. Shout out Michael Scott. Damich or Damich, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, 1212 on the YouTube chat. It was nice to see them play with some energy and intensity on the defensive end. Yes, it's been sorely missing all season long. And I'll say this. It wasn't a great offensive effort coupled with that. It was, listen, the Warriors did a hell of a job. I'm not here to take away any credit from them on the defensive end. They played with intensity, they played with enthusiasm, and it was nice to see. That said, my God, the shot selections from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I understand some of that was to do with the defense, but a lot of that was just Anthony Edwards. What are you doing, man? Forcing it, pressing it. We saw it first quarter. I was at the game. Shout out Young Benjamin. We had a great time at Chase Center. Loved it. Benny now. The Warriors are undefeated with Benny in the building at Chase Center. Coincidence? I think not. I think Joe Lacob should probably give me season tickets the rest of the way. But he'll text me on the side chat. He's a big pre-gamer. He tunes in every single day, Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. So us Joes got to stick together. Me and Lacob are those Joes. But yeah, we were at the game last night, and we just saw that first quarter. It was just not great basketball. And that second quarter, my God, Tony Brothers. Got a 3-year-old, okay? So I don't have the attention span to sit for hour quarters, and that second quarter felt like it was an hour long. Can we stop with all these fouls, these foul calls? I get it. Some of them are justified, and a lot of them on the Warriors have been justified this year. But the last 2 minutes of that second quarter was like 2 hours. You need to be better. NBA referees need to do better. Something we've said far too often this season for the NBA. Here's Steve Kerr on Draymond Green's injury update. This is kind of the story heading into the game. It's like, oh, well, he was probable Friday night. He said his presser, and then he was out for the game. I was like, that's not good. And they're calling it a knee flare-up. And, then last night, again, he was questionable and then out. Here's what Steve Kerr had to say about Draymond Green and his injury.
It flared up today, so he will be more thoroughly checked out today by our medical staff. So it was sort of unexpected the way he came through treatment yesterday. Everything was looking good, and he had a setback today. So we'll learn more today, and we'll have more for you tomorrow.
Does he need to get like an X-ray or something? Or
probably an MRI. So I'll talk to the training staff after this, but
I always like when little cuts end like that. But yeah, that's not good, is what probably he wanted to say. That's not good that he has to get an MRI for a knee flare-up this late in the season. That's never a good sign. But again, He's been the Iron Man kind of this season, Draymond Green. He's been that defensive anchor. He's been the guy playing defense. Basically him and DiVincenzo, and no one else is playing it at times. So that's concerning. And if Draymond is out for an extended amount of time this season, yeah, that makes it even tougher. When you have no Wiggins out, again, no Wiggins right now due to personal matters. We're still monitoring that whenever he comes back. But that's not good either. Hoping the best for him, his family, whatever personal situation that he is going through. Clearly, it has to be serious at this point. It's been a couple weeks now, so hoping the best for Andrew Wiggins and the family there. Very scary, scary things when you don't hear what's going on surrounding that. And Steph, again, he'll be reevaluated this Wednesday from that interosseous membrane injury he had, the fibular, tubular, shred the gnar, whatever, knee messed up tendon that he's got. So they'll reevaluate him on March. From Moondust on the YouTube chat, I am tripping on shrooms, and Saxon's shirt is scaring me, Spadoni. Come on, it's just a Hawaiian shirt. If you're on the YouTube chat, I'm looking at you right now. It's just a Hawaiian shirt. So there's maybe some marijuana leaves on it. But you know what? Come on. It's tropical. It's nice. We're chilling here. It was a nice win. It was a comfortable win for me anyways. I thought they were going to, once they took that lead late, that 9-point lead, I thought it was over. It was a wrap. Wasn't comfortable for a lot of the Warriors fans in there, and it's interesting going to a game like that when you have no dong in the fight. You just wanted a good game, and you got it last night. Benny was loving the theatrics. He loved the fireworks coming out, the fire. I was like, buddy, what was your favorite part of last night's game? He was like, when everyone was yelling DA. I was like, oh, they're yelling defense, but I was like, close enough. He's like, that was his favorite. He's like, I liked when everyone clapped. I was like, you know what? I did too. Just when everyone was getting into it. And there was a sense of urgency in the building last night for the Golden State Warriors fans. You could feel it. That was a game where it's just, you didn't feel comfortable throughout it. Timberwolves, for the most part, were controlling things. Naz Reid, he was getting his buckets any way he could. Austin Rivers is an irritant. Big choker at the line, by the way, last night. 0 for 4. Yikes. But you could feel it with the fans. And I was up in the nosebleeds. I wasn't up in the, the nice celebrity areas, if you will. I saw owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves, weird to say, Alex Rodriguez chopping it up with Barry Bonds. So the stars were in the building last night, but you can feel the intensity, and you're going to start feeling them down the stretch here. Every single game, no matter the opponent, whether it is against the Rockets again, or the Spurs, or the Orlando Magics of the world. I know they finished up there, but you get what I'm saying. You're going to start feeling it, and you are going to be playing a lot of Western Conference teams that directly correlate and impact you in the standings. So, again, every single game here, from here on out, it's going to matter more than the next. It's going to keep mattering more and more, if you will. Moondust. Again, I pulled my left buttocks muscle. But first, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Here's more from Steve Kerr on Loon Dog. Kevon Looney again. He's just so consistent. This guy brings it night in and night out. 12 points last night, 17 freaking boards. This guy's just a beast on the glass. Shout out Loon Dog.
I'm just getting tired of Raymond coming to me after every game saying that's the 6th consecutive game where Loon has had 13 or more rebounds. And it's like, I know, Raymond, I don't need that from you, but we've just come to expect it now. He's an elite rebounder and carved out such a great role for himself. And the reason he's a multi-time champion, I mean, he gets it. He's a pro and damn good player.
It doesn't get old watching Loon succeed. That guy, what he's been through, we never thought he was going to play again. After he had what was the term? Can't think of it. Couldn't feel his hands, basically. Couldn't feel his hands. Yeah, it was a neurological problem, and he didn't think he was going to be able to keep going in his NBA career. And hit me up on the text line or YouTube chat. Couldn't think of the word for his injury, but we'll get there. It's a Monday. We're working things out here on the pregame show, all right? Get off my back. We'll get through it. But again, Kevon Looney, what more can you say? Hell of a game from him in a game that he needed to step up in because you know what? Naz Reid is kind of eating his lunch a little bit there. Loon got the assignment. He got it, and he showed out towards the end there, especially clutch on the glass getting tip-ins. God, nothing better than a Loon dunk, too. Doesn't get up high, but he still dunks it down. We're going to take a quick break here. Coming back here from more of Steve Kerr, Dante DiVincenzo, Klay Thompson as the Golden State Warriors took out the Minnesota Timberwolves 109-104. They improved to 31-30 on the season. Minnesota Timberwolves fall to 31-32. Again, the Warriors back in action tomorrow against the Portland Trailblazers, and we'll have all that coverage right here on 95.7 The Game. And Stephen Curry will be reevaluated on Wednesday, hoping for the best there. Hope to get Steph back some point this week. That would be huge. Again, Draymond Green, latest news out of there. He had a flared-up knee injury. They're going to do an MRI on that to see where he's at. Nothing yet to report on Andrew Wiggins and the personal matters that he is attending to. Hoping the best there for Andrew Wiggins and hoping the best right here on 95.7 The Game as we continue right here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Ever since we got Xfinity Mobile, the whole family now has the fastest mobile service. My little brother has no idea how lucky he is. Back in my day, we didn't have it nearly as good.
Oh yeah? Back in my day, you couldn't even stream outside the house. I don't like to think about it.
Please, back in my day, we had phones with cords, and they were mounted to a wall.
Forget phones. Back in my day, we wrote letters. Remember, Herman?
Oh, I remember. area's sports station. 95.7 The Game. Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Warriors take out the Minnesota Timberwolves last night at Chase Center, 109-104. They improved to 31-30 on the season. We're talking defense for the first time in a while for the Golden State Warriors as Dante DiVincenzo, Klay Thompson, Loon Dog, Kuminga, everyone chipping in on the defensive end. Anthony Lamb with 2 blocks. That was just great to see and a great team win for the Golden State Warriors last night, and they needed to win it. So don't get it twisted. That was a game where it looked like it was slipping, and I saw it was Hamza from the YouTube chat, I believe, who said, listen, that game was so close to being over with if Anthony Edwards just hit a couple shots there late in the third. I was like, I agree, but he didn't. And yeah, some of it is defense, some of it's just luck. He had an off night. Anthony Edwards, more often than not, he's probably going to have a great game, but he didn't last night, and you have to capitalize when stars like that don't step up. And the Warriors stepped up. DiVincenzo, he stepped up. Klay Thompson, he stepped up. Kevon Looney. Again, Anthony Lamb in key moments stepped up. So it was overall a huge, huge victory for the Golden State Warriors. I said it might have been the win of the year. And my whole thing is, I think every single win this rest of the way is going to be the win of the year because you just need to keep stacking W's. That's my mindset. That's my logic. Just keep winning. That's all you need to do. Can the Warriors continue to do that? Well, they haven't shown thus far in the season they can. Maybe this is the part of the schedule where they can. Maybe they can. Against the Blazers tomorrow at home. This is the longest homestand you're currently on the rest of the way. You got the Blazers tomorrow. Got the Clippers on Thursday. Then you got the Pelicans Friday before heading over on Sunday at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles against the Lakers, and that'll be a massive game. The Lakers, they're coming off a huge win against Dallas. Dallas, by the way, looking at the TV right now, 1-3 with Luka and Irving. I think the Warriors have a good chance of leapfrogging them if they take care of their business. I am not a believer in that Dallas Mavericks team. I never really was because they don't play defense. Right? That was what they were hanging their hat on last year against the Warriors, and they play and they're like, oh, well, this Dallas team actually plays defense. Yeah, okay. But you can't rely on the offensive end, just Luka. Now you sacrifice some of that defense for more offense, but you expected it all to just kind of work with Kyrie Irving and Luka right off the bat? It's not that easy. It's not that easy. 888-957-9570, 888-957-957. Thank you. 510, neuropathy for Kevon Looney is what he was suffering through his career. We didn't think he was going to play again. It was like, I knew it was neurological something. I should know that because I swear to God, we have like a 50 million neuropathy type commercials here on 95.7 The Game in between shows that I listen to every single day. So thank you, 510 on the Xfinity Mobile text line. Neuropathy was the word I was looking for. 888-957-9570 if you would like to get involved, or on the YouTube chat. Hello. Appreciate all of you. Ricardo Martinez, pregame show. Let's go. Let's go, Ricardo. Appreciate you chiming in. Klay Thompson, speaking of let's go, he had the most ridiculous shot of the season, maybe in his career. A bank shot from the corner. The degree of difficulty on that alone should probably give him a 4-point play. Here's Klay talking about that shot last night in a clutch moment.
That one felt great. Rare you can bank from the corner, but sometimes you get the shooter's roll. So I'm not going to complain. Huge shot too. And it was a 2.
2. Thank you. It was a 2. It looked like it was a 3, but foot on the line. But my God, are you kidding me? In a clutch moment, and yes, shooter's roll to the 10th degree because this guy is one of the greatest shooters of all time. But my God, that was just one. You know what? When that shot went out, I was like, they're winning tonight. You can't lose when you make a shot like that. And I heard Tim Roy on the broadcast. I was listening back, and he was talking about it with Tolbert. I was like, if you make that shot, you can't lose. You can't lose. And they didn't last night. Here's more from Klay on the complete and possibly the best game of the year for his teammate, Dante DiVincenzo.
I mean, what a complete game by Dante. 21, 8 and 5 and 4 steals. I mean, probably his best game of the season. That's incredible. And his three-point shooting has been so great as of late. He's showing why he was so coveted for us this past offseason, and I love competing with him. He's using his voice on the bench because he's a champion. He's got incredible experience, and he's just going to be incredibly important for us going down this stretch.
Absolutely. That's going to be a guy that you're going to need to lean on. And, hey, maybe he's not going to have games like that all the time. Listen. He didn't have a great game against the Lakers. The whole team didn't have a great game against the Lakers. But you know what he's done since then? He's bounced back in an incredible way. He's scoring, playing defense. He's feisty. The defense is always going to be there with Dante. That much I do know with him. And that three ball, as Clay said, lately, it's reliable. And pretty much for the most part, other than that blip, the start of the season in which everyone kind of sucked on the Warriors, let's be honest, he's been great. Again, he's made himself a lot of cash this offseason. A lot. Well, the Warriors bring him back. They would probably love to. He might have priced himself out because you're going to be having to pay a lot of these guys. And listen, we have all offseason to talk about what's going to happen. Is Draymond going to opt out? Is he going to opt in? Jordan Poole contract, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. All of that. We get all of that. But shout out for Dante DiVincenzo because he's had a hell of a season. And last night showed you just why. And today's a day to celebrate him, because he's been a tremendous pickup in the pickup for the Golden State Warriors. Here's Steve Kerr on DiVincenzo's winning and his relentless mentality.
I think he won 2, didn't he? He won 2 championships there and another one in Milwaukee. I mean, he's been around winning his whole life. And what I love about Dante is he just fills up the box score. He's not just a shooter or a playmaker or a defender. Like, he's everything. He just brings it every game. Huge energy, great competitive desire, relentless, really fun to coach Dante.
You heard it from Steve Kerr. Guy's just a winner, too. Won all those games and championships at Villanova. Won it with Milwaukee. Yeah, he was hurt for a little bit throughout the playoffs. But you know what? Guy's a winner. And that's something to be said. When you have a winning formula and a team, let's not get it twisted. There's a lot of young guys who haven't done a lot of winning. Yeah, they won the chip last year. But you know what? When you're relying on guys like Ty Jerome and Anthony Land to play all those minutes, those guys aren't winners. They haven't won. Well, Ty Jerome, I guess, of Virginia, right? Is that where he played? But other than that, like, this is the NBA. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see what you got. And you know what? Dante DiVincenzo's taken a lot of these guys under his wing. And you see Gary Payton II on the sideline. Shout out to him. He's trying to take a lot of these young guys under his wing on the defensive end. And you saw it last night. And if they can just somehow, some way get into the tournament, I like to call it the tournament like Ray does. It just sounds cool. Sounds professional. If they can just get into the playoffs and you get Gary Payton II back with Dante DiVincenzo, you have one of those guys, if not both those guys, coming off the bench. You kidding me? The depth that all of a sudden for your defense looks like it's shot up exponentially. Now, you're assuming Gary Payton II is going to come back and he's going to look like Gary Payton II. We don't know that. But potentially, it could be a hell of a 1-2 punch there on your bench when it comes to Gary Payton II and Dante DiVincenzo. All the eyes right now, though, as far as defense are concerned, is looking at Draymond Green and that knee. He's going to get an MRI. Again, according to Steve Kerr, there was a flare-up with his knee, and they're going to get an MRI on it. This late in the season, that is a cause for concern. I saw Doc Pandya talking about it last night. Shout out Dr. Nirav Pandya of UCSF. Cleared to play. Willard and Dibbs every Wednesday, 11 to 30. So you're not going to want to miss out that. And I'm sure we're going to ask him about that this week. But a flare-up this late in the season, it's never a good thing. I'll say that. Hopefully, structurally, it's all okay there. But again, you're hoping for the best there. You're already without Andrew Wiggins. And to lose Draymond Green on top of that on the defensive end, I don't care how good DiVincenzo is. That's something you just can't overcome. So hoping for the best there for Draymond Green. Hoping for the best for the crossover, which is next, as Joe Shasky, the Morning Roast, joins me for a little crosstalk action. 888-957-9570 if you would like to weigh in on the Xfinity mobile text line. If you'd like to call in, same number, 888-957-9570. YouTube, Twitch, you are beautiful. Let's go. This is the pregame show. Warriors take out the Timberwolves 109-104, 95-7 the game.
Raymond and Ratto stream live on YouTube and Twitch every day.
Why wouldn't Kyle Shanahan just
Welcome back. Pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Warriors, they take out the Minnesota Timberwolves 109-104. Improve to 31-30. Let's see if they can start stacking wins, stacking dubs. They take on the Portland Trailblazers tomorrow. By the way, Dame Dalla, as Joe Shasky joins me for the crossover right now. Dame Dalla, 71.
Yeah.
My God.
You think he moved off ball once?
No. No chance.
Played any
they
defense?
were up by like 15 with like 2 minutes ago. He was just like, I was like, you know what? I like that though.
No,
I freaking go for it. Because don't you want like Steph and Clay to do that when they're out there?
Bootleg Steph, Dame Lillard.
Hey, that's Oakland's own Dame Lillard.
I'm always
But you know what? To that point, there was a little rivalry.
I've created a shtick out of being anti-Dame because everybody loves him.
I get it.
He's the darling, and I just it's more of a joke at this point. I'm kind of committed to the bit.
Well, and to be quite honest, he hasn't really won anything in his career.
Well, and he doesn't play any defense.
No. I got to say, and I actually took a lot of flack for this because he is Oakland's own. I live in Oakland. I love Dame. He's a great player.
Great player.
Him getting voted into the top 75 over a guy like Dwight Howard kind of bothered me. Well, Dwight's been the best player on a team that's been to a championship.
Dwight's...
and I understand that Dame's played in an era where Golden State's been amazing.
In their peak, who would you rather have had? In their particular peaks? I think I would go with Dwight Howard.
Yes.
Like there was some video circulating of Dwight Howard over the weekend, and it was young Dwight Howard. I think people have misremembered how great he was for 11, 12 straight years.
He's turned into a meme towards the late parts of his career, but you know how he was so good. He was actually good for the Lakers in that bubble championship run too.
Got a little Manny Ramirez feel to it, doesn't it?
A little bit, yes.
You know, where I think we kind of made it the guy a joke when in reality, one of the most feared players of his particular generation.
Yeah, he's a DPOY how many times? And then for the Orlando Magic to have peak Shaq and peak Dwight and not win anything, by the way.
And that team was actually an evolutionary step forward because they had Hito, Rashard Lewis.
Yes.
They were stroking the three from beyond the arc. That was a very fun team.
It was. Stan Van Gundy.
Yes.
That was a team there, too.
Jameer Nelson?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
What a name.
That. Yep, that was the Lakers ended up winning that. There was a last second shot. I think it was Jameer Nelson who rimmed it out. Rimmed it out. And that kind of was the series right there. But Warriors, Shasky, they played defense last night. Look at them, huh?
I know.
Wasn't that nice to see? Anthony Lamb with a couple blocks. Are you kidding me?
After the
That's
third
your
quarter.
guy, too, Anthony Lamb. Look at him coming in clutch.
After that third quarter, I was like, oh, God, they're down 9. It felt insurmountable, just considering how they've been playing as of recent. And then I want to get to Klay Thompson because,
oh, my God.
To me, someone's going to say, 2017, the month of May or something like that. Or they'll come up with some random one. That's playoffs, so it's different. I feel like given who's out, given their record, this might be the best offense I've seen from Klay Thompson because he's carrying them. It's not like, oh, we're 41-13, we're rolling right now, and Klay's on a heater. Like, they need him to have every bucket he could possibly have, and he's on fire.
No, absolutely. And it's not just the offense, it's the leadership.
Yes.
And Steve Kerr talked about that, no Draymond. And by the way, the Draymond thing is scary. A flared up knee right now, MRI. Listen, he's been playing amazing, and I think it's been taking its toll. Now we're seeing it now with this flare up. He's been having such a load on the defensive end, so that one's scary. But again, real quick to Klay, and we'll get on Draymond here in a second. That injury, but that leadership void that needed to be filled, and he's not the vocal guy.
No.
Clay's never been that his career.
No.
He's had Steph, he's had Draymond. Hell, Steve Kerr at times has just been the vocal leader. KD has been up there in the team. But all those guys are out. Wiggins is out. He needs to be that dude. He needs to be the grown-up in the building. And Steve Kerr's been talking about it, and I've just so impressed with Klay Thompson these last 2 months. It's been impressive.
It really has. And he might not be the vocal leader, and maybe he's growing into that role.
It seems like he has been, apparently.
It does. Yeah. But I will say there is something spiritual about when he's on, it just feels different for this
calming
team.
Influence almost, right?
It really is. And early in the year, let's go back to the beginning of the year, when he was struggling, you could almost feel it. He was pressing, the team was pressing, the arena was begging for him to go on like a heater. And then now when he's lights out. I mean, when he hit that bank shot on the angled shot, I couldn't believe that shot.
They were winning after that. I'm sorry.
You
can't lose when you hit a shot like that.
It was an unbelievable. We could be playing horse, and I'll give you 16 shots from there. You might hit one.
It was, and Klay talked about that was the definition of a shooter's role. That's nothing else. You can say
Only he can hit that shot. But the point being is that I think that arena vibes off of him. And when he is playing well, there is something joyous about everyone else feels it. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Here's another thing, and you're going to bring up Draymond in a second. And look, do they need Draymond? Yes. I'm saying that on the front end. I'm not diminishing Draymond. Do you think it's a coincidence? And I'm going to ask this same question to Bonte because I want his opinion on it. Do you think it's a coincidence that the floor does seem a little more open for Klay and he's been great for a month and a half, and that's been with Draymond, maybe 2 months. But I feel like you're seeing an even better version of Klay Thompson. Maybe it's just coincidence, but maybe there's some spacing things where on offense specifically, Klay feels a little more free and the ball's kicking around a little more. I don't know.
That's an interesting thought. I didn't really think about that before. Now you're bringing it up.
Just 2 games.
It could be.
It's a small sample size.
It's a small sample size.
I'm not trying to lose my mind.
No. But that's an interesting point. And that's why I like your opinions, because you look at things that no one else is going to see like that. And didn't think about that. Like maybe a little less congested, if you will.
Well, he's able to play like a stretch 4, but at the same time, Kuminga's allowed to operate more as a cutter.
I can see that.
Again, and I thought Kuminga had moments in the last couple of games. I also thought he had some boneheaded stuff.
Yes.
But the thing with Kuminga is you got to live with those. Yes. You saw Anthony Edwards. He has been given carte blanche to run up and down the floor and kind of do whatever he wants for 2 years.
Low key, he got benched at sometimes like last night where Finch was like keeping him out a long time. In that fourth quarter, did you see that? Like he kept him out. I was like, he didn't trust him.
Spadoni. Young player development is not a straight line upward.
No.
It's up and down and up and down. It's like the stock market.
I guess we're so used to just letting these star kids just keep playing constantly and stuff like that. And hell, Steve Kerr, early in that game, he called timeout, and him and Poole were getting into it a little bit.
7-2 or something?
It was super. I was like, okay. And I was like, this is going to be the longest first quarter of my life.
Well, they gave up 34 in the first, and I was like, you got to be kidding.
Well, Nas Reed is the greatest player of all time, obviously. By the way, can I tell you,
where did
you and Bonte like to talk about plus minus? Nas Reed, -6 yesterday.
Which is not indicative.
Anthony Edwards, +1. Watch that game and tell me if Anthony Edwards was good or not.
I totally Please. Nas Reed was incredible.
He was so good.
How about that dunk in traffic?
Oh, my God.
Where he cocked it back and threw it. And I got to give Kuminga credit. So many guys don't want the smoke on a dunk these days. Kuminga is at least trying to get up in the mix. Like, I'm all good with that.
And he's a young guy, too. I appreciate that.
I do,
absolutely.
too.
Real quick, here's Steve Kerr, Shasky. We mentioned Draymond Green and that injury.
Yeah.
Here's the injury update prior to the game yesterday. Or check that after the game.
It flared up today, so he will be more thoroughly checked out today by our medical staff. So it was sort of unexpected the way he came through treatment yesterday. Everything was looking good, and he had a setback today. So we'll learn more today, and we'll have more for you tomorrow.
Does he need to get like an X-ray or something? Or
probably an MRI. So I'll talk to the training staff after this, but.
2 things can be true simultaneously. A, I'm worried because they need Draymond, right? That's the first part.
Yes.
Second part, in a weird way, I think that this actually might not be the worst thing that ever happened to the Warriors because you got an opportunity to see Kuminga get into the lineup. Now, he's been playing a lot. He's guarding Edwards. He's guarding some of the 3s, some of the 4s at times. You get Klay more as a natural stretch 4. I think they can withstand it for the time being. Do they need him ultimately to go anywhere of significance? Yes. I'm not saying they don't need Draymond. I'm saying in a weird way, I think this gives opportunities to PBJ, to Kuminga, to Klay Thompson. And I'm playing him at Draymond's position. I'm just saying I think things open up on the floor for other guys and it gives them opportunities. In a weird way, I'm excited to see somebody else get some ops.
I can see that, but on the flip side, without Wiggins, and again, we don't know what's going on there.
I have no idea. I assume he's going to be back at some point.
Maybe. It's been a couple weeks now, so assuming, maybe. But if Wiggins is out and Draymond, I get wanting to be positive for the young kids.
I hear you.
That scares the hell out of me for a team that's already stunk on defense with those guys. That makes me even more scared down the stretch.
Okay, we're totally speculating because we have no idea what's going on. We don't know what's going on with Wiggins. Yeah. It's very odd, obviously. And it's fair to say 2 things are true. He deserves privacy, and it's odd that we don't know what it is.
Yes.
Which then leads me to assume, because that's all I can do. Yeah. Man, I hope so. I hope his family, whatever's going on, God knows what it could be. Like your mind starts to go crazy. And so I assume he'll be back at some point. What if he's not?
What if he's not? That's what I'm trying to think.
I mean, that's what I keep thinking.
I'm this whole week, I am looking at the Blazers like he's not there. I'm looking at the Clippers like he's not going to be there. Pelicans.
But if
maybe
he came back today, would you be shocked?
No, but again,
we don't know.
We don't know. It's like, and that's a hard part. Like when we talk on the radio about this, like, and people are always like, "What's going on, Wiggins?" I was like, we can't speculate on that because we don't know. Like we don't.
But your mind does race.
But your mind has to wander to.
Yes.
It has to be something personal, and that's what they said. So whether that's family related, whether it's mental health related, any of that stuff, like,
who knows?
Like who knows? So. All we know and we can say is we hope for the best.
I know he's got young kids, and I know that they've been sick at home, at least leading up. Because remember, he got sick at home.
Yeah.
I'm just connecting dots here. I just worry about people's families. Yes. You know what I mean? Like if we're just taking our sports caps off for a second and we step back, like, I just hope everything's okay for the kids. You know what I mean? Whatever's going on, that's where my mind goes.
No, absolutely. That's a great point there. And as we shift on from that, Dante DiVincenzo.
It's just a winner.
He's so good.
He's just a winner.
This has been the pickup of the year for the Warriors in a season in which they've missed Gary Payton II, right? Like they missed like that replacement guy. And DiVincenzo's been that and more for me.
He's finished in the lane.
Yes.
He's setting up for others. He doesn't, okay, like when you look at the stat sheet, you're like, oh, Dante DiVincenzo, he has a couple stats in every category. It doesn't even begin to explain how many little winning plays he makes throughout a game. Setting a screen, moving the tempo, coming over to help, which creates a bad pass that maybe somebody else steals. I mean, he picked that pass late in that game. No. That was a big-time turnover. He's a great winning player.
No, winning is perfect, and Steve Kerr talked about that. The guys won at every single level. You look at college, Villanova. You look at with the Bucks. They won a championship there. He was a good piece there. And now with the Warriors, and he's probably priced himself out. Like if you're looking at the Warriors, and I don't know, maybe they could bring him back. I don't know, but just looking at him, and he's made himself a lot of money. Just happy for guys that play hard and they are rewarded for it. Because you know what? There's so many guys that play hard on offense, right? And just take a break on defense.
Yes.
This guy knows his limitations and does it at both ends of the floor at an elite level. And we don't see that. And he's a young guy too.
And he fits into the ethos of the team. Like he's not, his personality blends really, really well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Like I think that's a big thing for the Warriors.
Calm, cool, collected.
Yeah.
He definitely fits in there. He's not a rah kind of a guy. Yeah.
But like I'm looking at it just financially, and I know it's different because there are different spots in their careers, and I get all that. Gary making almost $9-10 million a year. And DiVincenzo, like to me, you can't, but man, if I could flip-flop the two salaries, I would much rather have a 3-year deal, or at least 2 years after this year with Dante DiVincenzo as opposed to Gary Payton.
Absolutely. And there's like a 5 or 6 year age gap between the two. It's not even close. You'd go with DiVincenzo at this point. And then the injury history, absolutely. You factor that in.
And they're different. Like one's a lockdown niche kind of a defender type. DDD does everything
for you. Absolutely. And if, again, I mentioned this earlier.
Whatever his name is.
DD, right? Just Dante DiVincenzo.
Is it
DDV, I think so. Yeah. Not RVD. Shout out Rob, Van, Dan,
Mr. PPV.
AEW, by the way.
Did you see that guy putting Bonte in the headlock?
Oh yeah, I saw Kincaid, our boy James Kincaid of the Warriors too. He was chopping up and stuff like that.
Wait, Kincaid, who likes wrestling but is anti-steroids in sports.
You saw that.
Interesting.
He is. Huh. Speaking of baseball, maybe you and Bonte will get into that next on the Morning Roast 95.7 The Game.